Hi everyone, welcome to Crafting with Giulia. I'm Giulia and I'm so glad you tuned in today. If you enjoy my video, please hit the like button and leave me a comment. I love to get feedback from my viewers. Also, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you can be notified of all my newly released videos. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I invite you to join my Facebook group called Crafting with Giulia's Creative Community, where you can be part of my crafting family. All of those links are in the description below this video. Today's video is a collaboration with a very talented young lady, Ieleen, from the Harts DIY. We are presenting Kirkland Christmas Dupes. I have 4 DIYs that I will be showing. Please leave me a comment, tell me which is your favorite, and give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. Also visit Ieleen and give her some love. Tell her I sent you. The link to her channel is listed below. This challenge is right up my alley because I just love browsing through Kirkland's. I spend most of the time saying to myself, I wonder if I could dupe that. So there were so many things that I wanted to try. I ended up with these 4 dupes. So let's get started. The inspiration for DIY number 1 comes from this Crackle Glass Snowman LED lit figurine. It retails for $84.99, so I duped it. And here it is, and I even lit it up. And it cost me under $5 to make. For this project, you're going to need one of these glass jars that you get from Dollar Tree. You're going to need a can, a CD, Krylon looking glass in silver. This is a very shiny finish, and a mixture of vinegar and water. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give the inside of this glass a couple of bursts of this Krylon looking glass. I'm not going to do it on camera because of the smell. I'm going to bring it outside and do that, but I'm going to give it 3 quick bursts of this product here. And then I am going to glue this together and then spray paint this black. And this will be the hat. So I'm going to do that and I will be back. So now that it's all sprayed, now I'm going to take my vinegar and water mixture and just give it a couple of squirts inside the glass. And you can kind of see it bubbling up. I don't know if you can see it well on the camera, but you can see it bubbling up. And now I'm just going to take a little wet cloth and kind of move it around and get that crackle look. Now I'm going to paint the face. So I have a little orange paint for the carrot nose, I have a little red paint for the cheeks, and I have a little black paint for the eyes. So I am going to start by painting the carrot nose. Okay, so my snowman is all painted and he's dry, and now we're going to put them together. So my hat is all dry. I spray painted it in black, and now I am going to put this red ribbon around the brim. So I am going to glue it. Okay, now I'm going to put these fairy lights in there. All of the materials that I use, that I get from Amazon, will be linked in the description below this video. Oh, last but not least, I'm going to put I'm using stickles, crystal stickles, and I'm just going to put it around the top of the hat. And it's done. The inspiration for DIY number 2 comes from this Joy to the World wine wood tree, which retails for $29.99. And here's my dupe that costs under $5 to make. So using my Cricut, I cut out this image on cardstock. Then I traced it onto a piece of wood and I cut it with my scroll saw. So this piece here I got from Dollar Tree. It's a wood plaque from Dollar Tree. So I am now going to paint these pieces. I'm going to paint this with home decor wax, antique wax. So I'm going to give this a coat of that paint, and then the tree I'm going to paint with home decor chalk, white Adirondack. For the tree, I just glued on these little Jenga blocks just so that my tree can stand when I put it on the base. So right now I am going to now paint it with the Adirondack white chalk paint. So I made this on my Cricut and I cut it out in vinyl, and now I'm going to put it onto the tree. Now when it printed out on the vinyl, for some reason my Cricut did not cut the spaces in the E and the L and these two E's. So I am going to have to fudge it a little bit. And I'm going to take a white marker and I'm going to just paint it in. So taking my Lottie Dottie chalk marker, I'm just going to fudge it, make it look like there's an E in there. Okay, then I made this little bow and I'm going to put it at the top. Okay, and now we're just going to glue it onto the base. And it's done. The inspiration for DIY number 3 is this Christmas gnome, which retails for $39.99, and here's my gnome, which I made for under $20. The first thing you want to do is download the pattern, print it out on heavy cardstock, and place it on your fabric. So here's how you're going to lay it out. Let's start with the pants. The pants, you're going to place this part on the fold. The instructions are right on the pattern, and you want to cut 2. So I have 2 of them, and I'm using this plaid fabric. I have 2 of them cut on the fold. That's for my pants. For the hat, you're going to cut 1. You're going to place this on the fold and cut 1. And I am using the same fabric as the pants. You can use whatever fabric you choose for that. The shoes, I am using black felt. So you are going to place this part on the fold and you're going to cut 2. And then this is the sole. You're only going to cut 1 for each shoe. This is the jacket. You are going to place this part on the fold and you're going to cut 1. And the mittens, you're going to cut 4. I already made my mittens. I got ahead of myself here, but you're just going to lay this on your fabric and you're going to cut, you're going to double the fabric, cut 2 and 2. That's for the fabric. Now let's make the base. Now we want the gnome to stand, so I'm going to start with some cardboard pieces. Now I took the sole of the shoe and I went ahead and I cut cardboard pieces a tiny bit smaller than the pattern. And you want to have 3 pieces per shoe. So I have 3 pieces of cardboard here for each shoe. So I'm just going to glue them together. Okay, now I want to make a hole in the heel. This is to stick the dowel in. So you don't want to go too far from the edge. You want the hole to be about right there. So I'm just going to punch a hole and make sure it's in the same position on each shoe. Okay, and then with my scissor, I'm just going to make the hole a little bit bigger so I can stick the dowel in there. Just a little bigger. And it should fit snugly, so that's pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to put some glue in there. And we're going to stick the dowel in. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, now you want the bottom to be weighted because you want the doll to stand. You don't want it to fall over. So what I do is I take some bolts, some nuts and bolts, and that's what I use for the weight of the shoe. So I'm just going to put a little glue down there, and I'm going to run that over the top of the dowel. And then I take a smaller bolt and I'm going to put that at the tip of the shoe. Actually, sorry, going the other way. I'm going to put it that way. Okay, so there's our base. And then the shoe will go over that. Okay, now we're going to sew the patterns. So for the mittens, you're going to sew all the way around and you're going to leave this part open like I did here. These are the mittens. Okay. The jacket just gets cut, does not get sewn. The shoes, you're going to cut out the soles, and the part of the shoe that gets sewn is only here, this top part here. So you're going to leave the top and the bottom open on the shoe. Just sew right here. The pants, you are going to open them up and you're going to create a little hem at the bottom. So sew a little hem, and then after you've done that, you're only going to sew right here. So on both pieces, you are going to sew a hem and just sew right here. And then I'll show you what to do after that when we get back to that. And for the hat, you're just going to sew this part here. And you're going to leave everything else open. And it doesn't matter that this is a raw edge because we're going to put some fur around the top of the hat, so that doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to sew my pieces and we'll come back and put our little guide together. Okay, so now I sewed the hem on one pant leg and also the other one, and I just sewed this part here on both. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn one pant leg right side out, and we're going to stick it inside the other leg. Okay, now we want to make sure the seams line up. Okay, these two seams should line up. And now you're going to sew around this U. You're going to sew that part there only. Okay, that's for the pants. Now for the shoes, let me show you how I put this together. Here's my shoe. So what I did was I sewed just this part. You turn it right side out. Okay, now you want to make sure that you put this shoe in, the base of the shoe in first, because otherwise you'll never get it through the hole on top. So you just want to put that base in there. And now we're going to whip stitch this piece to the bottom. So you're going to take some embroidery thread and just put your thread through. Take the sole and you're just going to whip stitch it around. Just as I'm doing here. Okay, now we're going to take some polyfill and we're going to stuff it. I use my stuffing fork to push it down in to where I can't get it. Make sure it gets into all of the empty spots. So here's my pants already sewn, and now I'm going to turn them right side out so you can see that they are pants. So now I'm going to take a needle and thread and I'm going to cinch the legs because I want the pant leg to hug the dowel. So I'm just going to put my needle and thread through there and we're just going to make a little stitch going around. So we're going to go up and around, just like this. Okay, now we're going to put the pants on the shoes first. Because now that we made such a small hole, they won't fit over the shoes. So we're going to put them on the shoes first. Okay, now taking a 5-inch styrofoam egg that I lopped off the top because I am going to now glue a 5-inch styrofoam cone. I'm going to glue it onto it. But first I want to make indentations in my egg to put the dowels in. So I'm just going to make 2 little holes on either side. And that's where the dowels are going to go in. Okay, now I'm just going to use some pins just to keep my pants in place while I finagle them. Okay. So now we're just going to glue the pants to the body. But I want it to be a little puffy, so I'm going to add a little bit of stuffing, a little bit of polyfill inside the pants, just to give it a little bump. Okay, and then I'm just going to glue that to the egg. And this part really doesn't matter because it's all going to be tucked in the jacket. Now I'm going to glue my cone to the top there. So far, that's what he looks like. Okay, now I'm going to take the jacket and we're going to put it around his body. So it goes this way. And we're just going to glue it right there. Now this part doesn't matter because we're going to put his beard there, so it doesn't matter that that's all showing. Okay, now for the sleeves, this is just a 4" by 3" piece of felt. So it's 4" this way by 3" this way. And we're going to sew it on the 3" side. So I'm just going to give it a little stitch there, and and then turn it right side out, and it will look like this. Okay, and then we'll put that on the body. So here's my sleeve, and I'm going to turn it right side out. Okay, now we're going to glue the mittens onto the sleeves. Now this is the seam goes to the body, and you have a right and left hand, so the thumbs face forward. So this is going to be for the right hand. Now we're ready to put on the beard. So I already cut my beard. I'm using faux fur. And the way you cut the beard is you're just going to make a little triangle in the back. And you want to cut just the fabric. You don't want to cut the fur. So you're going to go with fine scissors, and you're just going to trim the fabric and then pull it apart. Okay, so now we're going to just glue that right onto there. Okay, and then we're going to take a 1" wooden ball, and we're going to glue it right there, right in the center. Okay, now for the hat, I want to first put the trim on. So we're going to put a little bit of glue. Let me find my end. Here it is. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of glue on the hat, right on the end. And I'm going to now put the fur right there. That's why I said that you don't have to worry about making a hem on the hat. I usually use felt for the hat, so I don't sew it anyway. But when I use fabric, I usually put a trim. Okay, there's our hat. So now we're going to put the hat on. The inspiration for DIY number 4 is this Pine and Berries galvanized wall pocket, which retails for $36.99. And my dupe costs under $5 to make. And although it's not made of tin, it's made of cardstock, it looks like tin, and it only costs $5 to make. For this project, I am using regular cardstock. This is gray or silverish cardstock. And I ran this through my corrugator from Fiskars. So you just put your paper through there, squeeze the handles, and just turn the dial. And you get a corrugated piece. So now I am going to glue these two pieces together. And I'm just going to tape it to the inside just to give it a little reinforcement. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again real soon. Happy crafting!